it was important. I went to the United Nations. United Nations is the highest forum on this planet where all world leaders come together and discuss on issues affecting their country and issues affecting the planet. And that is a forum in which their country's public policy is made known to other sister countries and all nations on planet Earth. Most nations you trade with, you have political relationship, bilateral, multilateral relationship, and more importantly, you do business with them, trade. Your produces from our country finds market in their places, and their produces also find market in our country. And so an important forum where our country is pitched or sold at the highest level as to what we are and who we are. And I felt that I was able to sell our country well at the highest forum, especially some of the assets we have. And my conversation at the United Nations was really at the level where the world will appreciate who we are, the assets we have. For instance, our country is the third biggest country in terms of the tropical rainforest we have. Our tropical rainforest produces oxygen that sustains planet Earth. And so my conversation was pitched in that context. I have trees that produce oxygen that you breathe. COVID-19 shows that the greatest need on planet Earth right now is oxygen. With no oxygen, you suffocate and you die, individually or as a planet. And my tree produces the oxygen you need. You've cut your trees already. You industrialized nations have emitted the carbon pollutant into the atmosphere. Your pollutant is the reason why the climate change is happening, sea level rise, temperature on planet Earth is rising. And so the global commitment to ensuring that we maintain our carbon emissions at a rate that is not contributing towards temperature rise above 1.5 degrees Celsius. That commitment was already given by all nations. PNG signed up to our national determination as far as carbon contribution is concerned last year. All nations should commit to it. Most are lagging behind. And so my conversation at the United Nations at that important occasion was to inform the world that we have forests that needs to be preserved for the world to be sustained in as far as the world's natural ecosystem and its natural state, or the word I used was equilibrium. That conversation was had loud and clear. Papua New Guinea, through Grand Chief Somara's leadership 10 years back, is chair of the Coalition of Rainforest Nations. We have restored our chairmanship in that important group of nations, where in COP26 that is coming up, there's an important conference again, conference that will which will be staged at Glasgow towards the end of October and early November. It's a conversation that is follow-up to our United Nations conversation on the need for industries and countries in planet Earth to be sensitive to the planet's call for climate change response. And so I spoke at that level to tell the world we have forests that needs investors to help conserve our forests. At the moment, our forests contributes to the economy in the harvest that is taking place. Of course, harvest will continue, but at a sustainable level. But most of our forest needs to be preserved for the world to benefit from. And I said, if you will benefit from oxygen, number one. And secondly, because my forest also is a carbon sink, where it replenishes the carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide in the atmosphere by ensuring that it is cleaning it. In fact, our forest consumes over 100 million tons of carbon a year. Our level of country emission, is only 10 million tons of emission. So we are a net carbon sink. So those conversations was pitched, and you would have seen in my speech, almost 50% of my time was consumed speaking at that important conversation, because I want to mobilize the industrialized nations and their industries to pay for the carbon sink and the carbon cleansing that our trees.